know you.
I am Dan Hoffman. I'm the city manager of Winchester, Virginia. I'm on my 5th year of doing this job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on 5 years.
Thank you.
What is your favorite? What drew you to Winchester? What's been your favorite part of the community that you've seen over the last 5 years?
My favorite part of the community. So, what drew me to Winchester was really this region, which I was very familiar with from when I lived over the mountain over in DC area. And when I left DC, I kind of went searching for a place like Winchester. Spent a little time in Florida, realized that evidently I like this weather better. And then when this opportunity came knocking, it was just too hard to pass up because the city has so much pride. It takes a lot of responsibility for keeping up its infrastructure. For the city appreciates its city staff. You don't see a lot of places where the residents just so effusively appreciate everybody, from the police officers to the guys working the back of the trash truck to the people clearing snow. The love from the community for the work that the public servants do every day really makes such a huge difference. So that's probably my favorite part of the city.
Yeah. One of the things that I have seen, and as I've gotten to know you more, is that I think a lot of times people will, look at the city to solve, to solve homelessness. Talk a little bit about, because I think I would say that this is a very multifaceted issue to solve, right? So can you talk a little bit about what role the city can have or can do to support that and what that looks like?
Absolutely. So, what I always say is that, we're never going to arrest our way out of this problem. And our police, they don't want to be the face of, addressing homelessness. They have a role, and they know that because the issue is so complex, they're always going to be part of the equation. Same with our fire department. Same with our social services department. But not so much the trains.
Not so much the train.
Train. Honk if you agree.
Yeah.
So we have a pretty big team. Are we good? All right, there we go.
All right, cool.
They agree, evidently. That is the squeakiest train I've ever heard. So we play a role, obviously, but we rely heavily on really the nonprofit community to help us address those issues. That's why organizations like the Rescue Mission is so important, and why we're so excited to continue to support and be part of whatever solution the community and all of the partners put together. I will say that I've been very happy to hear the commitment from the city council for the city to spend, time, energy, and resources and doing our part to address the issue. But, we can't do it without the support of the nonprofit community, where really, there's much more trust between the populations we're trying to serve and providers like yourselves. So it's a complicated one. We are happy to do our part, but just asking the city to go, arrest somebody for loitering or arrest somebody for panhandling, it's just not it's not a solution to the problem.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we've over the last couple of years really developed a really great relationship with our local police department and fire and rescue. Ashley Hoffman, our community paramedic, will be coming later, I think tomorrow. Chief Henschel will be coming, I think, later tomorrow. And just, those guys definitely have been a big support of ours too. But I would agree with you. I think that there is a supportive role to play, but I wouldn't say it's on you guys necessarily to solve, Yeah,
it's the community paramedic program is a good example of how we can get involved. It's a more proactive approach to providing emergency medical assistance, but it's also preventative in a lot of ways. So our community paramedics are, they're doing outreach to individuals who are experiencing homelessness. And then, of course, a lot of times there are mental health and substance abuse issues that are at play. That's why, we're using, our opioid settlement funds to fund an officer whose entire job, him and the peer support specialist, someone who has experienced addiction. That's our addiction response officer. So he and his folks focus on the kind of complex way in which the criminal justice system has to engage with folks who have issues with addiction. Because again, just throwing somebody in jail because they're an addict does not address the root cause.
Oh, agreed, 100%. I mean, the largest, housing entity of people with severe mental illness, and I don't know about substance abuse, but if you kind of umbrella substance abuse under mental illness, is the jail system, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not solving anything. It's not actually solving the root cause of that. Is the need for supportive services, including mental health and mental illness care. That's spot on. And a fun question. I think I asked you this the last time we did this. One of the things that, we always see on Facebook is, when is Winchester getting a new grocery store? Because that's a big thing. People throw
last year.
And understand, food deserts and things.
Of course.
Real thing. But
yeah, I think last time I couldn't say anything about this because we've been working on this for literally 2 years. But as was in the paper, we are getting a grocery store. We are getting a Publix in Winchester, over in the area formerly known as Ward's Plaza. It'll probably take a generation for us to stop calling it that. But that is the Cedar Valley neighborhood, or it is the future Cedar Valley neighborhood, featuring a Publix, which will be a great addition to the city. Gives more variety, gives more choices. We do have pockets of food insecurity in the city. Regardless of our coverage from grocery stores, we probably, by the USDA definitions, we probably really don't have food deserts. And we're 9.2 square miles, and we have multiple grocery stores. So it's hard to say we are a food desert, but there are still barriers to food access for folks that have disabilities, for folks who are limited in their English language proficiency.
Yep, we've seen that a good bit here.
There are so many barriers to transportation. There are so many barriers to food access that go beyond just having another grocery store in town. So those are the kind of things that we like to focus on. That's a big reason why we implemented the Win Ready on-demand system. So
that was my next question.
Folks can get picked up at their, within a very short walk of their house. Head over to the grocery store, get their groceries, and get delivered back to their house. In the old transit system, that was just impossible. That was just not a, you're not going to wait for an hour in the bus, go to the grocery store, wait for another hour to get back in the bus, and then get your groceries home in good order. So looking at ways to, whether you're trying to get your kid to school, trying to get to groceries, trying to get to your job. And we had, a lot of the folks that are experiencing homelessness are working. They are they're referred to as the working poor, informally. But, when someone spends, a few $100s a month on transportation to get to a minimum wage job at a fast food restaurant, and then suddenly they can ride Win Ready, get there, on time, reliably for a few bucks a day. I mean, that is a game changer for somebody who, we've had people that were relying on Uber to get to work. And that's just, that's not realistic. And this was a much better way to get people either to work, to food, to the doctor's office, that otherwise may have struggled to get there.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about how that kind of came to be. Because I know it's kind of initially start with COVID, like around COVID.
It started shortly after COVID. I mean, we went into a fare-free system during COVID, and we extended that on due to the support of the federal government. When those dollars expired, we did have to start reinstituting fares, but they're a fraction of the cost of what you would pay for Uber or whatnot. It's $1.50 a ride. So still very affordable. And a lot of the employers around town will buy passes. A lot of the nonprofits will buy passes to provide to folks that they're serving. And the impetus for it was, well, I'd actually piloted in my old job. I had piloted this when we got it started. The impetus for it here was really the environment. We had a system that wasn't working. We are compact. We are 9.2 square miles. And we're a big enough city that, or I should say small enough city that we could do this citywide. It's harder to get those kind of projects done in a large jurisdiction. The bureaucracy, the size and scale of implementation is very difficult. But in a city like Winchester, we are nimble, we are agile. We got that program up and off the ground in less than a year, which is light speed for government.
Yeah.
So we were just happy, and it is already, I will say, at capacity. We are now at a point where in this budget, I'm going to be asking for a couple extra vehicles and a couple extra drivers so we can meet the demand. But that's fantastic, because that means that's not just a car off the road every so many times somebody uses it, but it's somebody that's getting to work affordably. It's somebody that's getting to the grocery store affordably, and we're very proud of how successful it's been.
Yeah. You mentioned, a lot of individuals who are, a handful of individuals who are experiencing homelessness do have jobs. They are employed. They are working. One of the things that you and I frequently have some conversation about is workforce development.
Yes.
And so talk a little bit about, some of the conversations, some of the thought behind the importance of workforce development and kind of what y'all are doing. Because I think that's a big role for what, we have going on here too. Yeah.
Yeah, getting folks into stable, appropriate employment is huge. The state and the federal government play a big role in that, but we have some initiatives that we're cooking up right now, and maybe next year we'll be talking about them. I'm very confident. I just got the green light from council to move forward on a couple of very bold projects, which I was actually part of my agenda today and stopping by was to let you know that I'm going to be talking to you and your board very soon, because I have been given, I've been empowered to go forth and start doing some, I think, very exciting things in terms of providing workforce development, therapeutic services. I said, we talked about mental health, substance abuse, and emergency shelter. A lot of those things. We are going to play a more active role in trying to convene together the partners, the patchwork of people and organizations that are going to make this work, because it can't just be us. We can be a convener. We can help open doors and knock down barriers, but eventually the community is the one that's got to, really take that journey with us.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, I'm going to let you free somebody else now before my hand gets permanent.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, my hands are a little cold and yours are...
for me today, but it's very nice to see you.
Yeah, always. I appreciate it, and
Absolutely.
thanks for serving alongside with us. We appreciate what you do. I do not envy you, but I appreciate the work that you do in this community, and look forward to.
Well, I don't envy you sitting out here for the next 24 hours. So
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.